The laughter started small, sharp like needles in the quiet of the base canteen. A group of young recruits, their voices eager and untested, pointed at the tattoo winding across her forearm. They saw only ink, lines of a faded trident crowned. By name she never spoke aloud. They called it ugly, a relic of a past that didn't belong to her. One even muttered, "She probably got it at some biker bar." She sat silent, her fork still halfway to her mouth, her heart pounding with the same rhythm it had years ago in a place she swore she'd buried forever. Before I tell you what happened next, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I love knowing who's listening. She wanted to explain, to tell them each stroke of ink carried the weight of brothers lost and promises kept. But words stuck in her throat like glass. These recruits couldn't know. How could they? They hadn't stood ankle-deep in foreign sand, hadn't carried the weight of silence when bodies came home under flags. Her hand trembled, not from fear, but from the memory that never let her rest. The air grew heavier, the way it does before a storm. She rose, intending to leave, to let their laughter trail into nothing. But then the doors opened. Boots struck the floor with practiced precision, and in walked the SEAL commander. His presence shifted the room instantly. Conversations faltered, spines straightened. His gaze swept the canteen, sharp and unyielding, until it landed on her. She froze. She hadn't seen him in years. She thought she never would again. The recruits noticed too. Some smirked, thinking the commander's stern eyes were aimed at her as judgment. One whispered, "She's in for it now." But then, the unexpected happened. The commander stepped forward, his boots echoing like a drumbeat. And in a silence so complete it felt sacred, he lifted his hand in a crisp, deliberate salute. The room stilled. Forks halted midair. The laughter died in throats, her chest constricted. The memories roared back. Nights under gunfire, missions no one could speak of, the sound of his voice calling orders through chaos. She remembered the tattoo's birth, etched after they made it home, but not all of them together. Each name, inscribed into her skin, was a life, a bond, a brother she carried so they'd never fade. And the commander knew. He had been there. He had watched her drag a wounded man to safety while shrapnel sliced her shoulder open. He knew that ink was not vanity. It was history. The recruits looked from him to her, their expressions cracking into shame. One whispered, "She was there." Another lowered his eyes, realizing too late the weight of their mockery. The commander held the salute, longer than regulation, as though saying words that silence could never carry. Finally, he dropped his hand, and with a voice steady as steel, he said, "Respect is earned, not granted by rank. And she has earned more than you'll ever understand." The recruits shrank into their seats. No one dared to laugh again. Her eyes burned, not from humiliation, but from the sudden reminder that the battles fought long ago still had meaning. In that single gesture, he had given her back something she thought was gone, dignity carried, quietly, honor unspoken. And when the commander left, the canteen remained hushed. For once, even the air seemed to bow in reverence, because truth doesn't need to shout. It stands, steady, and waits for its moment to be seen. Because kindness doesn't vanish. It waits, and it finds its way back. The tattoo they mocked became the mark they revered. And the woman they underestimated walked out, not in silence, but in strength. So if this story moved you, share your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories of courage, kindness, and justice. Stories that remind us that honor, once earned, never truly fades.